The Grand Council Hall had never been so loud. Voices echoed from every corner of the massive chamber. Tall beings with shining scales argued with floating mines of light. Heavy, armored creatures slammed their claws on crystal tables. Screens glowed with star maps and battle reports. The galaxy was in trouble, and everyone wanted to speak at the same time. At the center of the hall stood a long, curved platform. Every major race had its place there. Flags hovered in the air, symbols of power and pride. This was where wars were declared, borders were drawn, and history was changed. And today, all eyes slowly turned toward one section of the platform. The human seats. They were not empty. 5 humans stood there. Calm. Still. Silent. They wore simple dark uniforms. No medals. No weapons. No glowing tech. Their faces showed no fear and no anger. They did not whisper to each other. They did not react to the shouting around them. They simply stood, hands at their sides, eyes forward. The council speaker, a tall being with silver skin and burning blue eyes, noticed them at last. Human delegates, the speaker called out, his voice amplified across the hall. You have been accused of violating council space. Your fleets crossed restricted systems. Your colonies expanded without approval. The room quieted, waiting for the human response. Nothing came. The speaker narrowed his eyes. Do you deny these claims? Silence. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some aliens laughed softly. Others leaned forward, curious. Humans were known for long speeches. For warnings. For stubborn arguments. This behavior was new. A reptilian warlord clicked his sharp teeth and spoke loudly. They have nothing to say because they know they are guilty. Laughter followed. Another delegate, covered in golden plates, waved a glowing limb. Or maybe humanity is finally tired. Too weak to argue now. More laughter. The speaker raised a hand for order. Humans. This council demands an answer. Still, the humans said nothing. One of them, a woman with short gray hair, slowly lifted her eyes. She looked around the hall. She did not look angry. She looked disappointed. She met the speaker's gaze. Then she looked away. That small action caused a strange feeling to move through the room. It was quick, but real. A few older delegates felt it first. A quiet pressure in their minds. A sense that something important was being missed. The speaker frowned. Is this some kind of protest? He asked. Do you think silence will protect you? No reply. A young alien from a minor race leaned forward and whispered, why are they not afraid? The question went unanswered. Then, without a word, the lead human took a single step back. The others followed. They turned together, perfectly in sync, and began to walk toward the exit of the council hall. The speaker shouted, you are not dismissed. The humans did not stop. Guards moved, weapons glowing, but the speaker hesitated. Something about the human's calm stopped him from giving the final order. The massive doors opened. Bright white light from the station corridor poured in. Before leaving, the gray-haired human paused. She did not turn fully. She did not raise her voice. She spoke only 5 simple words. We are done explaining ourselves. Then the humans walked out. The doors closed. For a moment, the Grand Council Hall was completely silent. No one laughed. No one spoke. The silence felt heavier than any shout. It pressed against the minds of the delegates like a warning they did not yet understand. Then the noise returned. Let them go, the reptilian warlord said with a laugh that sounded forced. They are bluffing. Yes, another agreed. What can they do alone? But in the far corner of the hall, an ancient being sat very still. Its species had watched galaxies rise and fall. It remembered old wars. Old mistakes. It whispered to itself, so quietly that no one else heard. Humans do not leave like this, it said. Not unless they already decided something. Far away, beyond the edge of mapped space, human ships changed course. No alarms sounded. No messages were sent. Humanity walked away in silence. And the galaxy had no idea what that truly meant. The silence left behind by the humans did not last long. Soon, the Grand Council Hall filled again with voices, movement, and noise. Delegates shifted in their seats. Screens refreshed. Guards returned to their posts. Life in the galaxy moved on, as it always did. Or so they believed. The council speaker straightened his posture and cleared his throat. The human delegates have abandoned this session, he announced. Let the record show that humanity has refused to defend its actions. A few symbols flashed on the central display. A formal mark of disgrace appeared next to the human emblem. That was when the laughter began. It started softly. A low clicking sound from the reptilian warlord. Then a sharp, metallic hum from another race. Soon, several delegates were openly mocking the empty human seats. They finally broke, said the warlord. All those warnings, all that pride, gone. A tall avian delegate spread its wings. They always talked about balance and restraint. Looks like they ran out of both. More laughter followed. One alien struck the table with satisfaction. Humans were dangerous only because they believed they were important. Now they know their place. The speaker allowed the noise to continue for a few moments before raising his hand. Order, he said. The council will now discuss the future of former human-controlled systems. That single sentence caused excitement to ripple through the hall. Former human-controlled systems. Maps appeared in the air, glowing lines dividing stars and planets. Rich worlds. Trade routes. Defensive corridors once guarded by human fleets. Hands were raised immediately. My people request control of the Orion Passage, said one delegate. The Vega shipyard should be redistributed, said another. Human manufacturing was wasted on restraint. Their border colonies are weak, someone added. Easy to absorb. The council speaker nodded as requests piled up. To many, this felt like victory without war. Humanity had stepped aside. The galaxy would simply move in and take what was left behind. But not everyone joined the celebration. Near the back of the hall sat a historian, old even by alien standards. His body was thin, his eyes dim, but his memory was sharp. He had seen records of humanity's early days in the galaxy. He remembered how they spoke during past crises. They had always argued first. They had always warned second. They had always stayed. Until today. The historian leaned toward a nearby delegate. Have you ever seen humans surrender? He asked quietly. The delegate scoffed. They just did. The historian shook his head slowly. No. They left. The difference mattered. Meanwhile, across council space, rumors began to spread. Human ships were returning to their core systems. Not fleeing. Not damaged. Just, leaving patrol zones. Human trade convoys quietly cancelled routes. Human diplomats vanished from embassies overnight. No announcements were made. No protests were sent. The council noticed these changes but dismissed them as panic. They are pulling back to protect themselves, the speaker said during a closed session. A defensive reaction. Yes, agreed the reptilian warlord. Let them hide. But then something strange happened. A mining guild reported that a human refueling station had gone dark. No distress call. No explosion. Just gone. Another report followed. Then another. Human infrastructure was shutting down, cleanly, perfectly, as if planned long ago. Still, the council laughed. They are cutting costs, one delegate joked. Probably can't afford their own technology anymore. Only the ancient historian felt the growing weight in his thoughts. He accessed old archives, forbidden ones. Records from wars erased from public memory. He read about humanity's first contact conflicts. About moments when humans were pushed too far. And one line appeared again and again in those records. When humans stop arguing, they stop caring. The historian closed the archive. In the council hall, the speaker finalized new border proposals. Human silence is acceptance, he declared. We will proceed. Far away, in human space, massive shipyards awakened. Not with alarms or urgency, but with calm precision. Systems long hidden powered on. Fleets assembled without formation lights. Without banners. No messages were sent to the galaxy. Humanity was not angry. Humanity was finished talking. And the council was still laughing. Unaware that the joke was already over. At first, nothing felt wrong. The galaxy continued its routine. Trade lanes stayed busy. Patrol fleets moved as scheduled. The council celebrated its easy victory, believing humanity had quietly accepted its fate. But then, the small changes began. A long-range relay station near the outer rim sent a routine report, then went silent. The operators assumed it was a technical failure. Human-made equipment was old by council standards. No one was surprised. Until a second station went dark. Then a third. Within 2 standard days, 12 human-operated relays stopped transmitting. No distress signals. No power surges. No debris fields. It was as if they had simply been turned off. A junior analyst brought the data to a council subcommittee. It's unusual, he said carefully. The shutdowns are too clean. Then they are planned withdrawals, a senior delegate replied. Humans are abandoning infrastructure they can no longer defend. The report was dismissed. Soon after, trade disruptions followed. Merchants complained that human convoys were no longer arriving. Medical shipments from human worlds were cancelled without explanation. Rare elements refined only by human processes vanished from the market overnight. Prices spiked. Arguments began. Still, the council remained calm. They are trying to pressure us economically, said the speaker. A final, weak tactic. But the data told a different story. Human ships were not rerouting to new clients. They were not selling supplies elsewhere. They were returning inward, deep into human space, and disappearing from public tracking systems. Then came the military reports. Border patrols in former human sectors detected empty space. No human fleets. No drones. No sensor beacons. Regions once tightly monitored were now quiet. Too quiet. A young tactical officer spoke during a closed briefing. Sir, humans always leave something behind. Listening posts. Traps. Observers. Not this time, the speaker replied. They are running. The officer hesitated. Or preparing. His warning was ignored. Across the galaxy, human allies began to act strangely. A neutral species cancelled a defense pact with the Council. Another withdrew its ambassadors. A third sealed its borders entirely. When questioned, their responses were short and identical. We are stepping away. No further explanation. That was when fear began to grow, not loudly, but deeply. The ancient historian requested emergency access to restricted council records. This time, his request was approved. Too many anomalies were appearing to ignore. He studied ancient sensor logs. Old war footage. Human doctrine files taken after long-forgotten conflicts. One pattern stood out. When humans fought, they announced it. When humans prepared, they negotiated. When humans went silent, they separated. Separation meant something terrible. It meant humans no longer expected cooperation, mercy, or survival beyond their own kind. Meanwhile, beyond mapped space, gravitational sensors detected massive energy movements. Not explosions. Not weapons fire. Construction. Ship frames larger than known standards began to form in darkness. Power sources far beyond civilian use came online. These signatures were not aggressive by definition. They were final. A council science advisor reviewed the data and felt cold. These are not war fleets, she said. They are self-sufficient systems. Long-term. Independent. For what purpose? The speaker asked. The advisor swallowed. For a future without us. The council ordered all human channels reopened. No response. Diplomatic probes entered human space and were quietly redirected by automated systems. No threats. No warnings. Just denial of access. Humanity had closed the door. The historian finally spoke during a full council session. We misread the silence, he said. They did not retreat. They chose isolation. Isolation is weakness, the reptilian warlord laughed. The historian looked at him with tired eyes. No, he said softly. Isolation is what a species chooses when it decides it no longer needs anyone else. Outside the council hall, stars continued to shine. But the galaxy was beginning to feel smaller. And for the first time, the council realized something was very wrong. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was called without ceremony. No banners. No speeches. No pride. Only fear. Delegates filled the Grand Council Hall again, but the mood was different now. Voices were low. Movements were careful. The empty human seats no longer looked weak. They looked intentional. The council speaker activated the central archive. We will review humanity's historical records, he said. All of them. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. Human history was uncomfortable. Wars where humans should have lost, but didn't. Conflicts where they showed mercy, then never returned. Civilizations that pushed humans too far and vanished quietly from galactic records. An ancient AI archivist came online. Its voice was calm, emotionless. Accessing classified human doctrine, it said. The first file opened. It was not a weapon design. Not a battle plan. Not a threat. It was a sentence. If diplomacy fails, disengage. The council frowned. The next file opened. Disengagement means full separation. More files followed, each colder than the last. Humans believed in warning first. They believed in restraint second. But they believed in survival above all else. A strategist spoke carefully. This doctrine, it doesn't describe retreat. The AI responded. Correct. It describes abandonment. The word echoed through the hall. Abandonment. Another file played, a human military recording from centuries ago. A calm human voice spoke to unseen officers. When we walk away, the voice said. We are no longer part of the system that failed. A senior delegate stood. That makes no sense. You don't leave the galaxy. The AI paused. Then replied. Humans do. Images appeared. Massive structures hidden in deep space. Self-sustaining fleets. Artificial stars under construction. World ships capable of holding entire populations. These were not weapons. They were exits. A science delegate whispered, they planned this long ago. Yes, the AI replied. Humanity always plans for the worst outcome. The historian closed his eyes. This was not anger. This was not revenge. This was a decision. Humanity had decided the galaxy was no longer worth saving. The council speaker tried one last time. Open a channel. Offer apology. Offer territory. The AI attempted the transmission. It failed. Human networks responded automatically with a single line of text. Access denied, non-human origin. The chamber erupted. They locked us out. They can't do that. We built this galaxy together. The historian rose slowly. No, he said. We borrowed their patience. And we exhausted it. Silence fell again, this time inside the council hall. Far away, human cities moved with quiet order. Civilians were calm. There was no panic. No fear. They had been prepared for this moment their entire lives. Children boarded vast ships without crying. Elders watched stars fade without regret. Soldiers stood down, not up. Humanity was not marching to war. Humanity was leaving history behind. The final archive file opened on the council display. A simple human phrase, translated into every known language. We warned you. Silence was mercy. The council finally understood. The day humanity stayed silent was not a mistake. It was the moment the galaxy lost them forever. Panic did not arrive all at once. It crept in quietly, like a shadow stretching across the Grand Council Hall. Delegates who once laughed now avoided each other's eyes. The same seats that held pride and power now held fear and regret. The human section remained empty, but it felt more present than ever. Emergency lights dimmed and brightened as systems struggled to keep up with new data. Reports flooded the central display. Human border space, sealed. Human communication networks, offline. Human allies, withdrawing. The council speaker's voice shook as he read the updates. We have lost contact with all human systems beyond our borders. A military commander stepped forward. Our probes are being redirected, he said. Not destroyed. Redirected. It's polite. That made the room colder. If humans were attacking, there would be violence. If humans were angry, there would be threats. But this was calm. Calculated. Final. A delegate slammed a limb against the table. Then force contact. Send fleets. Several others froze at those words. The ancient historian turned slowly. Send fleets where? He asked. To what target? No one answered. Human fleets were not forming invasion lines. Human worlds were not powering shields. They were disappearing. Star charts updated again. Entire regions once marked human cooperative space now showed a single symbol. Restricted, no access. A science officer spoke, her voice low. They are activating independent energy systems. We can't trace them. They don't rely on galactic supply anymore. Another delegate whispered, they don't need us. The truth hit the council all at once. Humanity had not been a member of the galaxy. Humanity had been its foundation. They protected trade lanes. They stabilized borders. They answered distress calls no one else would. And now, they were gone. A representative from a small border race collapsed into his seat. The pirates will return, he said. The warlords. The things that fear humans. No one argued. An emergency transmission finally broke through. Not from humanity. From a distant outpost. A non-human colony had been attacked, its defenses shattered in minutes. The attackers vanished before council fleets could arrive. The species sent a desperate request. Please, the message begged. We need human support. The council tried to forward the call. The system returned the same answer. No route found. The speaker covered his face. They used to answer, he whispered. The historian nodded slowly. Yes. Because they believed this galaxy mattered. A final attempt was made. The council drafted a message, not an order, not a demand, but a plea. They accepted blame. They offered apology. They begged humanity to return. The message traveled as far as it could. Then it stopped. No rejection. No response. Just silence. But this silence was different. It was not warning. It was absence. In the deep void beyond known space, human fleets moved in formation for the first time in centuries. Not toward enemies, but toward isolation zones prepared long ago. Human commanders spoke calmly. We are clear, one said. All lives accounted for, said another. Humanity had completed its withdrawal. Back in the council hall, the speaker finally stood down. We misjudged them, he said quietly. We thought silence meant weakness. The historian looked at the empty seats one last time. Silence, he said, meant they were finished caring. The council had learned the truth too late. Humanity did not abandon the galaxy in anger. Humanity simply decided the galaxy was no longer worth saving. The galaxy began to break. Not with explosions. Not with war. But with silence. Trade routes failed one by one. Patrol fleets stopped moving. Old threats returned from dark space, testing borders that were no longer guarded by human ships. And for the first time in centuries, the council felt truly alone. The Grand Council Hall was half empty now. Some races had fled. Others locked their systems and cut communication. Fear ruled where pride once lived. The council speaker stood before the remaining delegates, tired and aged. We need humanity, he said quietly. Whether they need us or not. One last attempt was authorized. Not through council channels. Not through military networks. Through an old, forgotten frequency, one used only in emergencies long ago. The signal traveled deep into human space. This time, it was answered. The lights in the council hall dimmed as a single transmission appeared. No hologram. No symbols of power. Just a plain human voice, calm and steady. This is a recorded message, the voice said. It will play once. Every delegate leaned forward. You asked why we stayed silent, the voice continued. You mistook our quiet for fear. It was not. Images appeared, humans rescuing alien colonies, human fleets defending borders not their own, human soldiers dying on worlds that were never theirs. We spoke for peace, the voice said. You laughed. Images changed, council debates, broken agreements, ignored warnings. We warned you, the voice said. You voted. The hall was completely silent. So we made a choice. The final images showed human world ships moving into darkness. Children looking at stars for the last time. Entire civilizations leaving together. We will not fight you, the voice said. We will not rule you. We will not save you. A pause. When the galaxy needed order, we gave it. When it needed mercy, we showed it. When it needed restraint, we held back. The voice grew colder, but never angry. But restraint is not endless. The final words appeared in text, translated perfectly for every species. Humanity did not declare war. Humanity declared independence. The transmission ended. No threats. No promises. No return address. The council speaker sank into his seat. Around him, the galaxy felt suddenly vast and empty. Beyond known space, humanity crossed a final boundary. Gates closed behind them. Systems powered down. History ended its record of humans in the galaxy. They did not look back. They had already given everything they were willing to give. And as new dangers rose in the dark, the galaxy finally understood the truth. Humanity was never its greatest weapon. Humanity was its last line of protection. And now, that protection was gone.